fazer. A Patrice, ela é assistente social clínica independente, licenciada e diretora dos serviços oferecidos para pessoas com SPW no Latham Centers, em Massachusetts, nos Estados Unidos. Ela formou-se pelo Simmons College de Boston, em Massachusetts, em 2008. Ela é membro do Conselho Consultivo de Cuidadores Profissionais da IPSO e tem mais de 22 anos de experiência trabalhando com crianças e adultos com SPW. É coautora do livro Living Healthy with Prader-Willi Syndrome, Vivendo de Maneira Saudável com a Síndrome de Prader-Willi. Além de sua experiência no desenvolvimento de uma programação vocacional voltada para as pessoas com a síndrome, ela se especializou no gerenciamento multimodal do transtorno de escoriação retal e da pele, usando estimulação sensorial intensa e não contingente. It's my pleasure. Please, Patrice Carroll.
Thank you. 24 years ago, I started working with people with PWS by accident, and it was the best accident of my life. I'm so honored to be here with you, your children, in this incredible city that I have fallen madly in love with. Liani, thank you for the invitation. I am now forever part of all of your families, and I hope you're okay with that because you're not going to get rid of me. PWS is what brought us here. It's what binds us. And I say us because thankfully PWS is a community. And as a community, we're here to support each other on behalf of our loved ones. Our loved ones need care, courage, and faith that the future will present opportunities for them to live meaningful lives. And that makes us a community of believers because it will happen. So I come with a message of hope. And my wish is that you leave feeling more hopeful about what lies before us. We know more than anyone else that what lies before us is measured in minutes, days, weeks, and not some distant future. We are all here as part of a journey, a very long journey. The journey is challenging, it's frustrating, it's exhausting, but the path is filled with love, joy, and hope. Today I want to focus on a few key themes. These themes are the pillars which we can help build brighter futures for those with PWS. Let's begin by acknowledging the immense strength and resilience that you as parents and caregivers embody every single day. Yep. Parents of people with PWS are the strongest, most creative, and most determined people that I have ever met in my entire life. Everyone around you can appreciate you with words, but it's essential that you give yourself credit for the incredible strength that you demonstrate every day. On the toughest days, you have faced moments of despair when it's hard to hold on to hope. But please remind yourself to find inspiration in all the small victories and joys. So here's a fun fact. When we focus on the things that are negative or look at things that upset us, that's called a trigger. We've all heard the word trigger. The opposite of the word trigger is glimmer. And glimmers are the tiny things that happen to us every day that are good. So I started my day with a great cup of coffee. That's a glimmer. And if you train yourself to look at those glimmers, over time, you're going to change your outlook and your brain chemistry. So try to focus on those glimmers more than you focus on the triggers, and it's going to have an impact over time. So I'm asking you to give yourself some grace. Maybe at the start of the day, maybe at the end of the day, but give yourself some grace because you've earned it. Remember that hope is not a distant dream, but a tangible reality that can be nurtured. And while it may seem like it sometimes, you are not alone on this journey. Let's reimagine what life can be like for our kids. PWS comes with a set of challenges, but it does not define your children's future. There are countless possibilities with the right resources, imagination, and determination. Remember to connect with support groups, seek guidance wherever you can find it, and lean on others for strength. Because everyone is born with an inherent dignity and worth, and children with PWS are deserving of society's compassion and support. Worth is not determined by someone's ability or disability. Just by existing, your children add to the richness of a wonderfully diverse world. Celebrate their achievements and milestones as they come, even if they don't come when you think they'll come or when you want them to come. Individuals with PWS are perfect the way they are. They do not need to be fixed, and they certainly don't need to be fixed for someone else's convenience. Over the years, I've gathered some quotes that I like to share with parents, and this is one of my favorites. It's from The Water Giver. And it says, "Parenthood is about raising and celebrating the child that you have, not the child that you thought you would have. It's about understanding that he is exactly the person he is supposed to be. And if you're lucky, he just might be the teacher who turns you into the person that you're supposed to be." Our job is not to change people with PWS, but to understand them and to guide them to be the very best of themselves. Human life should not be valued based on what an individual may contribute to society, but rather for who a person is and what he or she brings to her families and those that love them. Why do people assume that people who were born with different challenges are suffering and somehow lesser for their condition? How do we as individuals define quality of life? And why do we assume that our definition is correct? Quality of life is about having loving relationships, meaningful work, and activities that bring us joy. The definitions of meaningful and joy are deeply personal. I often ask people with PWS what they want other people to know about them, and here's some of my favorites. This is Anthony, 17 years old, and he said, "I want people to know that I'm not as sick as everyone thinks I am. I actually feel pretty good most of the time." Okay? When I asked what, if anything, he would change about himself, 16-year-old Ben said, "I wish I didn't have to wear glasses." And then I asked if he would want to take away PWS, and he said, "No, I like myself." Leona, age 22, said, "It would be great not to feel so hungry all the time, but you get used to it. I have a boyfriend, I have lots of friends, and I'm in college. I have a job. I do more than a lot of people who don't have PWS." And she's right. Yep. Just as the definition of meaningful is not universal, neither is the definition of suffering. We have to bring others into the conversation. Our medical studies, our schools, our communities, especially those who make assumptions about people with PWS. And one of the biggest assumptions is that they are suffering and would change if given the choice. What we need to change is that perception. Instead of focusing energy on sympathy and trying to change people with PWS to fit our definition of normal or typical, we need to educate people to open their hearts and minds to the fact that there is intrinsic value in all life, regardless of how we ourselves define quality of life, happiness, and success. That sentence is the foundation of my entire career, so I'm going to read that to you one more time. We need to educate people to open their hearts and minds to the fact that there is intrinsic value in all life, regardless of how we ourselves define the quality of life, happiness, and success. So the question is, can you envision a future where your child leads a meaningful life despite the obstacles? And if the answer is no, I'm so glad that you're here today. It's difficult, but crucial to break free of preconceived notions and stereotypes that could limit your child's potential. I hope your children's support systems help embrace their unique abilities and consider alternative paths that might lead to continued happiness as well as independence. Now let's think about respect as a fundamental part of our PWS journey. It's not just about respect we show to our children, but also the respect we demand from society and healthcare systems. Respect means creating an inclusive society where your child can thrive and be valued for who they are and not what they're expected to be. So let's ask ourselves how we can promote respect for individuals with PWS, ensuring they are treated with dignity and care that they deserve. An important part of the answer is to advocate for your children's needs and rights, but also to educate those around you. Encourage open conversations with educators, healthcare professionals, neighbors, and even family members about the syndrome. They need to understand that your child is not their IQ score or a new diagnosis from a recent psych evaluation. She is not how many steps she can take at the age other children are taking their first steps. He is not his tantrums or his scars from picking. Your child is not a problem or something to be fixed. She will encounter love and joy and friendship, and he will also meet people who are mean and unfair and ignorant. He will soon find out that some days are great and other days are really, really hard. And that's okay. Not everyone will like him, but others will love him as if he was their own. Teach them to see the good in every day, even on the worst days. Resist the temptation of putting limits on them in the name of protecting them. Teach him by example. Teach her by being strong for her, but not solving all of her problems. You have a child that not everyone will understand, and you will fight more battles than you can count, but it will be worth every step, because in the end, you will have a nurtured and confident and capable child who will most certainly exceed all of your expectations. I've been thinking ahead about the possibilities that this new generation will have, but like you, I'm frustrated by the current state of insurance claims being cast aside, accommodations for fair education being refused, and necessary in-home services being taken away. It confounds me that we are still fighting this battle, and then I realized it's because they don't know our kids. If they knew them, they would love them and admire them and fight for them the way that we do. They would not give indirect answers denying necessary accommodations to get fair education. They would not use their antiquated laws to refuse our kids the necessary support that they need, and they would not reject scientifically proven medications. If they knew our kids, they would make the changes, find the loopholes, fight the system. We are not asking to give people with PWS a great advantage, simply to give them what's needed to be safe, healthy individuals that have the same rights as every other citizen. So what do? We make it personal, because it is. Parents talk about their worry about PWS being a lifelong burden to bear, and they will need lifelong care. But they also have incredible personalities, and they absolutely love harder than anyone I have ever known. And people other than family will love them. They will accomplish things, and they will find things that bring you joy, but more importantly, they will find things that bring themselves joy. Your journey may be filled with challenges, but it is also illuminated, lit up by the resilience you've discovered within yourself and the potential you see in your child's future. As you continue your PWS journey, always hold on to the hope that a brighter future awaits. Together, we can create a world where every individual, regardless of their challenges, is respected and given the opportunity to flourish. Remember that this journey is filled with boundless love and the potential for remarkable growth. Embrace all of our differences and learn from the unique, quirky, and undeniable spark that comes from those who live and love in a way that many of us can't explain or define. I have been truly blessed to be able to devote my career to your children. In return, I promise that I will never stop doing everything I can, and that you always have my deepest respect and admiration. Thank you.
Yeah! Cheia de alegria, de esperança e de amor em cada palavra. É isso que a gente precisa, um novo olhar. Bom, gente, eu vou falar rapidinho sobre o Layton Centers, porque o nosso encontro foi tão especial. Elas são tão maravilhosas, Patrice, a Heather e a Katrina, que a gente conversando e a gente teve um momento especial de conexão, né? Elas viram o nosso trabalho, estão vendo hoje, e elas estão abrindo portas de parcerias com o Layton Centers. Então, a gente estava falando, doutora Caroline, falando sobre casas. Então, a gente vê um futuro promissor numa possível parceria de treinamento aqui, de saber como a gente consegue fundos. Vem cá, filha, vem cá que você faz. Vem cá, Valentina, você faz parte desse momento também. Vem cá, filha, sobe aqui. Eita, que bom! Eu sei, não almoçou, né? Nem almocei. Por que será? A preocupação dela, né? Vamos tirar uma foto ali, vale ali, ó. E aí, assim, eu queria falar rapidinho o seguinte, os centros Latam, né, que a gente no Brasil tem que chamar de Latam, não Layton, né, que é difícil, é o maior programa dos Estados Unidos para crianças e adultos com SPW. Os alunos vivem e assistem às aulas na escola Layton, e o programa adulto tem 12 casas residenciais, atende aproximadamente 50 indivíduos. Senta ali, filha, fica paradinha, não mexe em nada. Nossos alunos têm idades entre 8 e 22 anos, os alunos deles, né? E entre idades de início dos 20 anos e até 60 anos. Né? Então, uma das pessoas mais idosas, mais velhas do país com SPW vive em uma das casas dos residenciais Layton. E olha a surpresa boa para todos nós. As oportunidades no Layton de trabalho são abundantes. E a Layton está interessada em contratar profissionais brasileiros para que estejam interessados em explorar essa cultura única na vida, onde as pessoas com SPW ensinam os profissionais, tanto quanto os profissionais, ensinam aqueles com SPW. As pessoas que vierem aos Layton Centers trabalharão diretamente, para um, com as crianças e adultos em nosso programa e participarão de um programa de aprendizagem experiencial diferente de qualquer outro. Então, a gente tem folders, ali na saída tem uma mesa com folders sobre os Layton Centers. Se vocês tiverem interesse, a gente pode marcar uma reunião com a Katrina para ela explicar esse projeto, que é um projeto chamado de um programa H1B, que faz com que as pessoas possam trabalhar nos Estados Unidos. E a gente vai botar essas informações também no site da associação, spwbrasil.com.br. Então, é uma oportunidade para terapeutas terem esse treinamento para médicos. Então, a Katrina vai estar disponível para conversar, se vocês tiverem interesse, ou online depois. Então, muito obrigada, Layton Centers, por isso. Eu vou fazer um sorteio agora. Flávia, fazer um sorteio? Vamos lá? Valentina, tira aí uns. Eu vou sortear camisas da SPW e copos da Layton Centers. Eu sorteio todos. Pega aí. Vem aqui com a mamãe, fica aqui. Sem ver. Ela falou, sem ver? Sem ver. Pega aí, pega aí. Oh, sem ver. Não, você pode ver, filha. Vamos ver os números? Vamos lá. 484. Eba! Mais um, vale, mais um. Eu queria uma camisa também. Agora uma camisa. 477. Camisa. Aí a gente pergunta para a pessoa ali. 477, está aí? Foi ao banheiro, mas ganha. Vai, Valentina. Vamos, Valentina. Reserva uma camisa para essa pessoa. Vai lá, vai. Vamos lá. 480. Mexe aí, que está muito perto o número. 402. Calma, que a tarde tem mais sorteio.
Mexe. Vamos lá, Valentina.
Eu quero mais 2 copinhos, Flávia, por favor. Ah, camisa. Opa! E o último copo, os últimos 2 copos. 452.
Mais um, Valentina. Vamos lá, chacoalha.
E
Mais um, né?
mais uma, o último. De tarde a gente sorteia mais coisas. E 460. Uhul! Vamos lá, a gente vai almoçar. É só de tarde. Eu queria também chamar, se tem crianças pequenas aqui, que a gente vai dar também cortesia dos Layton Centers, livrinhos de colorir. Quem não recebeu e quiser, pode pegar aqui comigo, tá bom? Esse não é sorteio. Gente, vamos lá. A gente está com um pequeno atraso, mas tudo isso a gente consegue minimizar. A gente vai ter o almoço livre agora. Tem o restaurante do hotel, quem quiser. Tem os restaurantes ao redor, bares para comer alguns lanches, se vocês não quiserem almoçar, né, muito. A gente está com 1 hora. Vamos nos ver às 2 horas, né, em ponto mesmo, tá bom? Muito obrigada.
Tá meio-dia?
Tá meio-dia. Pode para as crianças, pode. Já, Valentina já ganhou.